People are the heart of every success and struggle in life, yet understanding them can feel like solving a puzzle with missing pieces. Whether it's navigating a tricky coworker, deepening a friendship, or avoiding toxic drama, knowing what drives human behavior gives you an edge. This video breaks down 25 laws of human behavior, offering practical wisdom to sharpen your social skills, dodge pitfalls, and live more intentionally. Drawing from psychology and real-life insights, these laws uncover why we act the way we do and how to use that knowledge to thrive. It's a deep dive, so bookmark this video to revisit its lessons. Let's jump in and start mastering the art of human connection. 1. The law of envy. Envy sneaks into our lives like an uninvited guest, stirring unease when someone else gets the job, the praise, or the life we want. It's a universal feeling, rooted in our tendency to measure ourselves against others. The law of envy teaches that this emotion, if left unchecked, can sour relationships and cloud your judgment. But when understood, it becomes a tool to protect yourself from others' resentment, strengthen your bonds, and fuel your own growth. Imagine a coworker who congratulates you on a promotion, but their smile feels forced. Or a friend who downplays your success with a sarcastic jab. These are signs of envy, and they're more common than you think. A 2018 Pew Research Center survey found that 59% of people feel envious of others' achievements at least occasionally, especially when they see curated lives on social media. Envy doesn't always lead to malice, but it can spark subtle sabotage, gossip, passive-aggressive comments, or undermining your efforts. To spot it, pay attention to how people react to your good news. Do their words match their body language? A quick frown or averted gaze often betrays their true feelings. If someone's praise feels like a dig, trust your gut and keep your distance. Protecting yourself from envious people means being strategic about what you share. Oversharing your wins, especially in competitive settings, can invite resentment. Instead, focus on humility. Celebrate quietly and redirect conversations to others' interests. If you sense envy, don't confront it directly. That can escalate tension. Try asking about their goals or challenges to shift the dynamic. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely cheer for you is key. These are the ones who'll lift you up, not pull you down. Now, let's talk about your own envy, because we all feel it sometimes. That pang when a friend buys a dream house or a colleague lands a big client, it's normal. The trick is not to let it fester. Instead of resenting someone's success, use it as a mirror. What does their achievement reveal about your own desires? If you envy their career, maybe it's time to polish your skills or take a bold step. Envy can be a motivator if you channel it into action. For example, instead of stewing over a peer's recognition, set a goal to showcase your own work. This turns a negative emotion into a spark for progress. One way to tame envy is to practice gratitude. Write down 3 things you appreciate about your life daily. Maybe a supportive friend, a skill you've honed, or a small win. This shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. Over time, you'll see others' successes as less threatening. Another tip: celebrate others' wins sincerely. When you show genuine excitement for a friend's milestone, you build trust and create a positive cycle where they're more likely to root for you too. The law of envy shows that comparison is part of being human, but it doesn't have to control you. By spotting envious behavior, guarding your peace, and turning your own envy into drive, you'll navigate relationships with clarity and confidence. Master this law, and you'll transform a hidden obstacle into a stepping stone for growth. 2. The law of role-playing life is a stage, and we're all performers, slipping into different roles to fit the moment. At a job interview, you're the polished professional. At a friend's party, you're the easygoing storyteller. With your parents, you're the respectful child. The law of role-playing reveals that we wear these social masks to get along, meet expectations, and achieve our goals. Far from being fake, this adaptability is a cornerstone of human connection. Mastering it means knowing when to adjust your role, how to read others' performances, and when to let your true self take center stage. Think about a time you held back an opinion to avoid rocking the boat, like staying diplomatic in a heated team meeting. That's role-playing in action. We tweak our behavior to fit the context because blurting out every thought would cause chaos. A 2019 Harvard Business Review article noted that people who adapt their communication style, like matching a boss's formal tone or mirroring a friend's casual vibe, are 20% more likely to build rapport. This isn't about deception, it's about creating harmony. Your mask helps you navigate a world where not everyone needs to see every side of you. But masks don't hide everything. People leak hints of their true feelings through subtle cues. Imagine a colleague who nods enthusiastically, but grips their pen tightly when you pitch an idea. That tension betrays doubt. To catch these signals, sharpen your observation. Watch for quick shifts in expression, a pursed lip, a raised eyebrow, or changes in tone, like someone speaking too fast when nervous. These clues reveal what's behind the mask. Practice in low-stakes settings, like noticing a friend's posture when they talk about their day. Over time, you'll read people like an open book. Using role-playing effectively starts with owning your adaptability. Before a big moment, like a presentation or a first date, ask, what role does this situation need? If you're meeting a client, emphasize confidence and clarity. If you're with close friends, let your quirky side shine. Adjust in real time by mirroring others' energy. Match a coworker's enthusiasm or dial back if they seem reserved. But don't overplay your role. A mask that's too perfect, like constant people-pleasing, can seem inauthentic and push others away. Let small, genuine traits, like a warm smile or a quick joke, slip through to keep connections real. The real magic happens when you know when to drop the mask. In trusted relationships, showing your unfiltered self builds intimacy. Share a fear with a partner or admit a mistake to a friend. These moments create bonds stronger than any performance. But choose carefully. Revealing too much too soon, like venting to a new acquaintance, can backfire. Reserve authenticity for those who've earned your trust, and you'll foster deeper, more honest connections. There's a catch, though. Wearing masks too long can disconnect you from yourself. If you're always on, playing the perfect employee or friend, you might forget what you truly value. Check in regularly. Are your roles serving you, or are you losing yourself in them? Take time to reflect, maybe through a quiet walk or a quick journal entry, to reconnect with your core. On the flip side, refusing to adapt, like always being brutally honest, can alienate others. Find a balance. Adapt to connect, but stay grounded in who you are. The law of role-playing shows that social masks are tools for thriving in a complex world. By choosing your roles wisely, reading others' cues, and sharing your true self selectively, you'll build stronger relationships and move through life with ease. Embrace this law, and you'll turn every interaction into an opportunity to connect and grow. 3. The law of compulsive behavior. Ever notice how some people keep falling into the same traps, no matter how much they swear they'll change? Maybe it's a friend who always picks unreliable partners, or a colleague who snaps during crunch time only to regret it later. This is the law of compulsive behavior. Our deepest character traits drive repeating patterns, often without us realizing it. By understanding these cycles, you can predict how others will act, choose better people to surround yourself with, and break free from your own unhelpful habits. These patterns come from who we are at our core. Whether it's a tendency to avoid conflict or a habit of overpromising, our character shapes actions that play out over years. A 2020 Psychology Today article noted that people's core traits, like impulsivity or empathy, tend to stay consistent, showing up most clearly when life gets tough. Think of a boss who seems calm but micromanages every detail during a crisis. That's not a one-off. It's a window into their need for control. To understand someone, don't judge them by a single moment. Instead, watch how they handle pressure, make choices, or face setbacks over time. Do they take responsibility, or do they point fingers? These clues reveal the patterns that define them. When building relationships, this law is your guide to picking the right people. Charm and talent are great, but character matters more. Someone who stays steady and kind, even when stressed, is a keeper. On the flip side, beware of red flag patterns. Take the perpetual critic, who finds fault in everything and drags others down with negativity. Or the all-talk dreamer, who spins grand plans but never follows through, leaving you to pick up the pieces. If you spot these tendencies early, like a date who blames everyone else for their problems, set boundaries or walk away. Choosing people with strong, reliable character saves you from years of frustration. Your own compulsive behaviors need attention too. Maybe you procrastinate on big projects or get defensive when criticized. These aren't random, they're rooted in your character. Start by noticing your patterns. For example, if you always say yes to extra work and then resent it, track when it happens. Write down what triggered you. Maybe a fear of disappointing others. Awareness is the first step. Then, try small shifts. If you're quick to argue, pause and count to 5 before responding. Over time, these tweaks weaken old habits and build new ones. Breaking cycles isn't easy, so lean on support. Share your goal with a trusted friend, like admitting you want to stop avoiding tough talks. Ask them to check in on your progress. Accountability keeps you honest. If you're stuck, consider a mentor or coach to spot blind spots you might miss. The key is persistence. Change takes time, but each step makes you more in control of your actions. The law of compulsive behavior reminds us that we're all wired to repeat ourselves, for better or worse. By decoding others' patterns, you'll surround yourself with people who lift you up. By tackling your own, you'll grow into someone who acts with purpose, not habit. Pay attention to the loops in your life. They're the map to building better relationships and a stronger you. 4. The law of covetousness. Have you ever wanted something just because it felt out of reach? A limited edition sneaker, a dream job, or even someone else's seemingly perfect life? The law of covetousness says we're wired to crave what's scarce, forbidden, or owned by others, only to lose interest once we get it. This desire drives human behavior, from impulse buys to chasing status, but it can also trap us in cycles of dissatisfaction. By mastering this law, you'll learn to want what truly matters, avoid chasing empty prizes, and even use scarcity to inspire others. Picture a kid at a toy store, ignoring shelves of options but throwing a tantrum for the one toy another child holds. That's covetousness at work. As adults, we're not so different. We scroll through social media, eyeing vacations or gadgets we didn't care about until they seemed exclusive. A 2019 Forbes article explained that scarcity triggers urgency, making us value things more when they're rare. Think Black Friday sales or only one left alerts online. This instinct isn't bad. It pushes us to act. But left unchecked, it leads to chasing things that don't fulfill us, like buying a flashy car only to feel empty a month later. To harness covetousness, start by questioning your desires. Ask, do I want this because it's valuable to me or because it's hard to get? Maybe you're eyeing a promotion, but is it the role you want or the prestige? Reflect on what aligns with your goals. If you're drawn to something just because others have it, pause and list 3 reasons it matters to you. This simple check helps you focus on meaningful pursuits, like learning a skill that excites you instead of chasing trends that fade. Gratitude keeps covetousness in check. When you're caught up wanting more, take a moment to appreciate what's already yours. A cozy home, a loyal friend, or a recent win. Jot down a few things you're thankful for each day. This grounds you in the present, making you less likely to obsess over what's out of reach. It's like savoring a home-cooked meal instead of envying a fancy restaurant's menu. Over time, you'll find contentment in what you have while still pursuing what's worth it. You can also flip this law to influence others positively. People are drawn to what seems rare or exclusive. If you're pitching an idea, frame it as a unique opportunity. Maybe a project only your team can pull off. In relationships, don't always be overly available. A bit of mystery keeps people intrigued. For example, if you're dating, don't share your entire life story on the first date. Leave room for curiosity. But use this sparingly. Too much scarcity feels manipulative. The goal is to spark genuine interest, not play games. The danger of covetousness is boredom. Once we get what we want, the thrill often fades and we're on to the next shiny thing. Think of someone who upgrades their phone every year, chasing the latest model but never feeling satisfied. To avoid this trap, invest in experiences or skills that grow with you, like mastering a hobby or building a meaningful career. These keep rewarding you long after the initial excitement. When you do chase something big, break it into steps. Each milestone keeps the journey fresh. The law of covetousness shows that our craving for the unattainable is both a strength and a weakness. By questioning your desires, grounding yourself in gratitude, and using scarcity thoughtfully, you'll pursue what truly matters and inspire others along the way. Embrace this law, and you'll turn restless wanting into focused, fulfilling action. 5. the law of repression. Deep inside, we all have thoughts and impulses we'd rather not admit to. Anger, selfishness, or insecurities we push down to seem good. The law of repression warns that hiding these parts of ourselves, our so-called shadow, doesn't make them disappear. It makes them stronger. When suppressed, they leak out in unexpected ways, like snapping at a loved one or sabotaging your own goals. By embracing this law, you'll learn to face your shadow, channel its energy constructively, and build more authentic connections with others. Picture a time you felt a surge of frustration, but swallowed it to stay polite, only to lash out later over something small. That's your shadow breaking free. We repress these feelings because we're taught they're wrong or shameful. Maybe you hide your ambition to seem humble, or bottle up resentment to keep the peace. A 2017 Psychology Today article noted that suppressing emotions can amplify them, leading to outbursts or even physical stress symptoms like headaches. The more you deny your shadow, the more it controls you, slipping out in moments of weakness or pressure. Facing your shadow starts with honesty. Take a moment to reflect. What feelings or thoughts do you avoid? Maybe you're secretly competitive but act indifferent, or you feel inadequate despite your achievements. Write down 1 or 2 things you're reluctant to admit, even to yourself. This isn't about dwelling on the negative. It's about naming what's there. Acknowledging these traits weakens their grip. For example, if you're suppressing anger, recognize it as a signal that something in your life needs addressing, like a boundary being crossed. Once you've identified your shadow, channel its energy into something positive. That buried ambition, use it to set a bold goal, like starting a side project. That hidden frustration, turn it into a workout or a creative outlet, like painting or writing. The key is to express these impulses in ways that don't hurt you or others. Think of a musician pouring raw emotion into a song. It's controlled, not chaotic. By giving your shadow a safe outlet, you prevent it from erupting destructively. Embracing your shadow also makes you more relatable. People are drawn to those who show their imperfections. Imagine a coworker who admits they're nervous before a big presentation instead of faking confidence. Their honesty invites trust. Share a small flaw or quirky trait with someone close, like admitting you're a bit of a perfectionist. A simple act like this builds deeper bonds because it shows you're human. But be selective. Save these moments for trusted relationships, not casual ones where vulnerability might be misjudged. The flip side of repression is overexposure. Some people swing too far, airing every dark thought without filter, which can alienate others or seem self-indulgent. The goal is balance. Accept your shadow without letting it define you. If you're unsure where to start, talk to a close friend about a struggle you've kept hidden. Their perspective can help you see it's not as scary as it seems. Over time, you'll feel lighter, less controlled by what you've pushed down. The law of repression teaches that denying your darker side only gives it more power. By facing it, redirecting its energy, and sharing it wisely, you'll unlock a more authentic version of yourself. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. And that's what draws people to you and fuels your growth. 6. The law of narcissism. We all have a spark of self-focus, a natural desire to feel special and admired. But when that spark becomes a blaze, it can burn through relationships and blind us to others' needs. The law of narcissism reveals that everyone has narcissistic tendencies, but some take it to extremes, craving constant validation at any cost. By understanding this law, you'll spot unhealthy self-absorption in others, nurture your own self-worth without excess, and build connections rooted in empathy rather than ego. Think of someone who dominates conversations, always steering the topic back to their achievements, or gets upset when they're not the center of attention. That's narcissism in action. It's not just arrogance, it's a deep need for external praise to feel secure. A 2018 Psychology Today article noted that about 1 in 16 people show significant narcissistic traits, often masking insecurity with bravado. These individuals might charm you at first, but over time, they demand loyalty, react poorly to criticism, or guilt trip you for not meeting their needs. Picture a friend who sulks if you don't like their social media post, or a coworker who takes credit for your work. Recognizing these patterns early helps you set boundaries. To protect yourself, watch for red flags. Does someone overreact when you disagree with them? Do they dismiss your feelings but expect you to prioritize theirs? These are signs of unhealthy narcissism. Keep interactions neutral. Don't overshare personal details or feed their need for flattery. If you must engage, focus on their interests briefly, then redirect the conversation. For example, if a colleague brags about their success, acknowledge it lightly and shift to a shared goal. If their behavior becomes draining, limit contact and seek out people who value mutual respect. Now, let's look inward. We all have moments of self-focus. Maybe you fished for a compliment after a tough day or felt slighted when ignored. That's normal. The problem comes when you rely on others to prop up your self-esteem. To avoid this, build your own sense of worth. Reflect on what makes you proud, like a skill you've mastered or a time you helped someone. Write down one thing you like about yourself each week, no matter how small. This inner confidence reduces your need for outside approval, making you less likely to slip into narcissistic habits. The antidote to narcissism is empathy. Practice putting yourself in others' shoes. When a friend shares a struggle, listen without jumping to your own story. Ask questions to show you care, like, how did that make you feel? Or, what do you need right now? These small acts shift your focus outward, strengthening your relationships. Empathy also makes you more resilient. When you're less obsessed with your own image, setbacks sting less and you bounce back faster. If you're dealing with someone deeply narcissistic, don't expect them to change overnight. Their need for validation runs deep, and confrontation often backfires. Instead, maintain firm boundaries. If they push for attention, respond calmly, but don't give in. For example, if a family member guilt trips you for not calling enough, say, "I value our time, but I'm balancing a lot right now." Then stick to your limits. Surrounding yourself with empathetic, balanced people will keep you grounded and remind you what healthy connections feel like. The law of narcissism shows that self-focus is part of being human, but it's a fire that needs tending. By spotting narcissistic behavior, building your own confidence, and prioritizing empathy, you'll create relationships that lift everyone up. Embrace this law, and you'll find a balance between loving yourself and valuing others. 7. The law of irrationality. We like to think we're logical, making decisions with clear-headed reason. But the truth is, emotions often steer the ship, leading us to choices that defy sense. The law of irrationality shows that our feelings, anger, fear, or excitement, can override logic, causing overreactions or poor judgment. Whether it's yelling at a friend over a small mistake or impulse buying something you can't afford, irrationality is part of being human. By understanding this law, you'll learn to catch yourself before you spiral, respond calmly to others' outbursts, and make choices that align with your goals. Imagine getting into a heated argument with a coworker who misread your email and took it personally. Their sharp words feel like an attack, so you fire back, escalating a minor issue into a full-blown conflict. Later, you realize it was a misunderstanding, but the damage is done. This happens because emotions hijack our thinking. A 2019 Harvard Business Review article explained that stress or emotional triggers can reduce rational decision-making by up to 30%, pushing us to act on impulse rather than reason. Our brains are wired to seek instant relief from discomfort, even if it means making things worse in the long run. To tame your own irrationality, start by recognizing when emotions take over. Notice physical cues, tight shoulders, a racing heart, or moments when you're tempted to react fast, like snapping at a family member after a bad day. When you feel that urge, pause. Take a deep breath and count to 10. This simple act gives your rational mind a chance to catch up. If you're still heated, step away, go for a walk, or splash water on your face. Delaying your response, even by a few minutes, helps you see the situation clearly and choose a better path. Reflection is your next tool. After an emotional reaction, ask yourself, what set me off? Was my response proportional? Maybe you got defensive because a friend's comment hit a sore spot, like your fear of being overlooked. Jot down what happened and what you could do differently next time, like calmly asking for clarification instead of arguing. Over time, this builds a habit of stepping back, making you less likely to be swept away by feelings. Dealing with others' irrationality requires patience. If someone overreacts, like a partner who yells over a forgotten chore, don't match their energy. stay calm and acknowledge their feelings without caving in. For example, say, "I see you're upset. Let's talk about what's going on." This diffuses tension and shifts the conversation to reason. If they're too emotional, give them space to cool off. Often their outburst isn't about you, but something deeper, like stress or insecurity. Understanding this helps you avoid taking it personally. Long-term, train yourself to embrace discomfort. Admitting you're wrong or facing a tough truth feels painful, but dodging it fuels irrational choices. Practice small acts of courage, like owning a mistake at work or apologizing first in a disagreement. These build your tolerance for emotional discomfort, making you more rational under pressure. Surround yourself with level-headed people who model calm decision-making. Their influence will rub off. The law of irrationality reminds us that emotions can cloud our judgment, but they don't have to control us. By pausing before reacting, reflecting on triggers, and handling others' outbursts with grace, you'll make smarter choices and build stronger relationships. Embrace this law, and you'll navigate life's chaos with a clearer, steadier mind. 8. The law of short-sightedness. Ever made a choice that felt right in the moment but backfired later? Maybe you skipped a workout for a Netflix binge or got into a petty argument that cost a friendship. The law of short-sightedness reveals our tendency to focus on the present, ignoring the long-term consequences of our actions. This tunnel vision keeps us from building habits, reaching goals, or seeing the bigger picture. By mastering this law, you'll learn to think ahead, prioritize what matters, and make decisions that set you up for lasting success. Picture yourself at a buffet, piling your plate with desserts because they're right there, only to feel sluggish an hour later. That's short-sightedness at work. We're drawn to instant gratification, whether it's indulging in junk food, overspending, or reacting impulsively, because it feels good now. A 2020 Forbes article noted that 70% of people struggle with long-term planning, often prioritizing immediate rewards over future benefits. This isn't just about willpower. Our brains are wired to value what's in front of us, making it hard to stay focused on distant goals like saving money or getting fit. To overcome short-sightedness, start by visualizing the future. Before making a decision, ask, how will this choice affect me in a week, a month, or a year? If you're tempted to blow your budget on a new gadget, imagine how that money could grow in savings or fund a dream trip. Write down one long-term goal, like advancing your career, and list 3 small steps you can take this week to get closer. This shifts your focus from the now to the later, helping you resist fleeting temptations. Another trick is to anticipate consequences. Every action ripples. If you're about to snap at a coworker, pause and consider. Could this strain our working relationship? Might it affect a future project? Thinking 2 steps ahead helps you avoid traps. For example, if you're debating whether to skip a family event, weigh the cost of missing out on memories against a temporary inconvenience. Practice this by jotting down possible outcomes of a big decision, good and bad, to see the full picture. Patience is your ally here. Short-term thinking thrives on impatience, wanting results fast. Train yourself to delay gratification. If you're craving a snack, wait 10 minutes and see if the urge passes. If you're itching to buy something, sleep on it for a day. These small acts build discipline, making it easier to stick to bigger goals like studying for a degree or maintaining a healthy routine. Celebrate small wins along the way, like praising yourself for choosing a walk over scrolling social media to stay motivated. When dealing with others' short-sightedness, lead by example. If a friend keeps blowing their budget, don't lecture. Share how you set aside a little cash each month and how it's paid off. If a teammate focuses on quick fixes instead of strategy, suggest a plan that balances short-term wins with long-term gains. Your clarity can inspire them to think bigger without feeling judged. The law of short-sightedness shows that chasing the present can rob you of the future. By visualizing long-term outcomes, weighing consequences, and practicing patience, you'll make choices that align with your dreams. Embrace this law, and you'll build a life where today's decisions pave the way for tomorrow's success. 9. The law of defensiveness. When someone challenges your ideas or points out a mistake, do you feel a sting and rush to explain yourself? That's defensiveness, a reflex that protects our sense of self, but often shuts down growth and connection. The law of defensiveness shows that people cling to 3 core beliefs. They're independent, intelligent, and good. Threaten these, and they'll push back, even against good advice. By mastering this law, you'll learn to lower others' guards, persuade effectively, and open yourself to feedback without feeling attacked. Imagine suggesting a new approach to a friend's project, only for them to snap, "I've got it under control." Their reaction isn't about you. It's about protecting their belief in their competence. We all do this to some degree. A 2018 Harvard Business Review article found that 75% of people resist feedback when it feels like a challenge to their identity, often missing chances to improve. Defensiveness kicks in because admitting we're wrong or need help feels like a blow to our ego, so we argue, deflect, or shut down instead. To influence others without triggering defensiveness, start by validating their perspective. If a coworker resists your idea, acknowledge their approach first. "I see how your plan covers a lot of bases." Then, frame your suggestion as a shared goal. "What if we added this to make it even stronger?" This makes them feel heard, not judged. Avoid direct criticism or phrases like "you're wrong," which raise hackles. Instead, ask questions that guide them to your point, like, "Have you considered this angle?" This approach invites collaboration, not confrontation. Listening is your secret weapon. When someone shares their view, don't interrupt or jump to counter-arguments. Nod, summarize what they said. "So you're saying this method works best because..." and then offer your thoughts. This shows respect and lowers their guard. Make them feel safe by showing you value them, not just their ideas. For example, if a family member bristles at your advice, reassure them, "I'm only bringing this up because I know how capable you are." Safety turns resistance into openness. For yourself, tame defensiveness by embracing feedback as a gift, not a threat. When someone critiques you, resist the urge to justify. Instead, pause and ask, "What can I learn here?" If a boss points out a flaw in your work, thank them and ask for specifics to improve. This shifts your mindset from self-protection to growth. Try keeping a feedback journal. Write down one piece of advice you get each week and how you can use it. Over time, you'll see criticism as a tool, not an attack. Some people are extra defensive, feeling the world is out to get them. With them, use their resistance to your advantage. If a stubborn friend won't try a new habit, say, "I bet you'd nail this if you wanted to prove it works." This taps into their need to assert control, nudging them toward your idea. But don't overdo it. Manipulation erodes trust. The goal is to inspire, not trick. The law of defensiveness teaches that protecting our ego can block progress, but softening that instinct opens doors. By validating others, listening deeply, and welcoming feedback, you'll build trust and grow wiser. Embrace this law, and you'll turn tense moments into opportunities for connection and self-improvement. 10. The law of self-sabotage. Ever felt like you're your own worst enemy? Maybe you procrastinated on a big project until the deadline crushed you, or you avoided a tough conversation that could have cleared the air. The law of self-sabotage reveals how our own attitudes and fears can derail our progress, turning opportunities into obstacles. It's not about a lack of skill, it's about a mindset that holds us back. By understanding this law, you'll learn to shift your perspective, embrace challenges, and unlock your potential for growth and success. Think of a time you talked yourself out of trying something new, like applying for a dream job because you assumed you'd fail. That's self-sabotage at work, driven by a narrow, fear-based mindset. Maybe you expect the worst, so you don't even start, or you overthink every detail until you're paralyzed. A 2021 Psychology Today article noted that 80% of people engage in self-sabotaging behaviors at some point, often due to fear of failure or low self-worth. These habits keep us stuck, reinforcing a cycle where we prove our own doubts right. To break free, adopt an expansive mindset. Instead of seeing risks as threats, view them as chances to learn. If you're hesitant to speak up in a meeting, reframe it. Sharing your idea, even if it's not perfect, is a step toward confidence. Start small. Commit to one bold action this week, like signing up for a class or asking for feedback. Each step builds courage, proving you're capable of more than you think. Write down one fear that's holding you back, then list 3 ways you can act despite it. This turns vague worries into concrete plans. Embrace obstacles as teachers. Setbacks aren't failures, they're data. If you bomb a presentation, don't dwell on embarrassment. Ask what went wrong and how you can improve. Maybe you need to practice more or clarify your points. This mindset transforms pain into progress. Try keeping a lesson log. After a challenge, jot down one thing you learned and how you'll use it next time. Over time, you'll see hurdles as stepping stones, not walls. Stop taking things personally. Often, we sabotage ourselves by assuming others' actions reflect our worth. If a friend doesn't text back, you might spiral, thinking they're mad when they're just busy. Pause and consider alternative explanations before jumping to conclusions. This frees you from unnecessary stress and keeps your focus on what you can control. If you catch yourself ruminating, distract yourself with a quick task, like organizing your desk to reset your mind. Surround yourself with people who challenge your limits. Negative peers reinforce self-doubt, while supportive ones push you to grow. Seek out a mentor or friend who believes in you and asks, "Why not try?" Their encouragement can drown out your inner critic. Share a goal with them, like running a 5K, and ask them to check in on your progress. Their belief will fuel your momentum. Finally, trust your resilience. Your body and mind are stronger than you realize. If you're avoiding a tough task, like having an honest talk with a partner, remind yourself you've handled hard things before. Recall a past win, like finishing a project under pressure, to boost your confidence. Small acts of bravery build a habit of facing fears head-on. The law of self-sabotage shows that your biggest obstacle is often your own mindset, but you can change it. By reframing risks, learning from setbacks, and leaning on supportive people, you'll stop holding yourself back and start seizing opportunities. Embrace this law, and you'll turn your doubts into fuel for a bolder, brighter future. 11. The law of grandiosity. We all dream big sometimes, picturing ourselves as the star of our own epic story, maybe running a global company or dazzling a crowd with our talents. That spark of ambition is powerful, but when it balloons into an inflated sense of self, it can blind us to reality. The law of grandiosity warns that unchecked dreams of greatness can lead to overconfidence, broken promises, and lost trust. By mastering this law, you'll learn to channel your ambition into realistic goals, stay grounded, and inspire others without losing touch with what's real. Imagine a friend who's always talking about their next big venture, writing a bestseller, launching a startup, but never takes the first step. Their enthusiasm is infectious at first, but when nothing materializes, you stop believing them. That's grandiosity, an exaggerated view of one's abilities that outpaces action. A 2019 Forbes article noted that overconfidence affects 65% of entrepreneurs, often leading to risky decisions or failure to follow through. Grandiosity feels good. It fuels motivation. But without discipline, it's a recipe for disappointment. To harness your ambition, start with honesty. Ask yourself, what do I want? And is it achievable? If you dream of starting a business, don't just envision the corner office. Map out the skills and steps needed to get there. Write down one big goal, then break it into 3 smaller tasks you can tackle this month, like researching the market or taking a course. This keeps your vision grounded while moving you forward. Big dreams are fuel, but small actions are the engine. Feedback is your reality check. Grandiosity thrives in isolation, so seek out honest opinions. Share your plans with a trusted friend or mentor and ask, does this make sense? If they point out flaws, don't brush them off. Listen and adjust. For example, if you're planning a podcast, they might suggest starting with a few episodes before committing to a daily show. This saves you from overreaching. Keep a note of feedback you receive and revisit it weekly to stay on track. Choose challenges that stretch you, not break you. Aim for goals just above your current skills, manageable but motivating. If you're a beginner writer, aim to finish a short story, not a novel. This builds confidence without setting you up for a crash. Celebrate progress, like completing a draft, to stay motivated. Occasionally, let your grandiose side loose on a bold project, but only after proving you can handle the basics. When dealing with others' grandiosity, be supportive but discerning. If a colleague boasts about a huge deal they're about to close, nod politely, but don't invest your time or trust until you see results. Encourage their ambition with practical suggestions like, "That sounds exciting. Have you looked into the logistics?" This nudges them toward action without fueling empty hype. Surround yourself with people who balance big ideas with follow-through. Their grounded energy will keep you steady. The danger of grandiosity is losing touch with reality, alienating others, or burning out on unattainable dreams. Stay humble by reflecting on your limits. If you catch yourself exaggerating your skills, pause and list 3 areas where you're still learning. This keeps your ego in check. Over time, you'll build a reputation as someone who dreams big but delivers bigger. The law of grandiosity shows that ambition is a gift, but only when paired with discipline. By setting realistic goals, seeking feedback, and choosing smart challenges, you'll turn your dreams into achievements that last. Embrace this law, and you'll inspire others while building a future you can truly stand on. 12. The law of gender rigidity. Society often hands us scripts about how we should act based on gender. Men are supposed to be tough and stoic, women nurturing and gentle. But clinging too tightly to these roles can box us in, limiting our potential and straining our relationships. The law of gender rigidity shows that over-identifying with traditional masculine or feminine traits restricts our ability to grow and connect authentically. By mastering this law, you'll embrace all sides of yourself, break free from outdated expectations, and build richer, more flexible relationships. Think of a guy who hides his emotions to seem strong, bottling up stress until it explodes, or a woman who feels pressured to always put others first, neglecting her own ambitions. These are traps of gender rigidity. A 2020 Psychology Today article noted that 60% of people feel constrained by gender norms at some point, which can lead to stress or disconnection from their true selves. When we suppress parts of who we are, like a man avoiding vulnerability or a woman shying away from assertiveness, we lose access to our full range of strengths. To break free, reconnect with the traits you've pushed aside. If you're a man who's been taught to avoid soft emotions, try expressing gratitude or sadness in a safe space, like telling a friend you appreciate them. If you're a woman who's hesitant to seem bossy, practice speaking up in a meeting with one clear idea. Start small. Pick one suppressed trait and use it once this week. Maybe it's a guy taking a dance class or a woman negotiating a raise. These acts expand your identity, making you more adaptable and confident. Create a personal role that transcends gender norms. Ask yourself, who am I beyond these labels? Maybe you're a blend of courage, empathy, and creativity. Write down 3 qualities that define you, regardless of societal expectations, and think of one way to express each. For example, if you value curiosity, take up a hobby like painting, whether it's seen as masculine or feminine. This helps you live authentically, free from rigid scripts that don't fit. In relationships, encourage others to break free too. If a partner or friend seems trapped by gender expectations, like a man who won't open up or a woman who over-apologizes, gently model flexibility. Share how you've embraced a forbidden trait, like a guy admitting he enjoys cooking or a woman celebrating her competitive streak. This invites them to do the same. Avoid judgment. Instead, praise their efforts to step outside norms, like complimenting a friend's boldness or vulnerability. This builds trust and deepens your bond. The risk of rigidity is missing out on your full potential. A man who suppresses empathy might struggle to connect with loved ones. A woman who avoids leadership might pass up career growth. Conversely, don't swing too far and reject all gender norms. Some people find meaning in traditional roles. The goal is balance. Honor what feels true to you while exploring what you've been taught to avoid. Encourage creativity in how you express yourself. Gender norms often stifle imagination, so experiment with new ways of being. Try a style, hobby, or behavior that feels unlike you but intriguing. Maybe it's a woman trying martial arts or a man writing poetry. These experiments reveal hidden strengths and make you more versatile in any situation. The law of gender rigidity teaches that boxing yourself into societal roles limits your growth and connections. By embracing all your traits, defining your own identity, and encouraging others to do the same, you'll live more fully and relate more deeply. Embrace this law, and you'll rewrite the script of who you're allowed to be. 13. The law of aimlessness. Ever felt like you're drifting through life, checking boxes but not sure where you're headed? Maybe you're working hard but feel empty, or you chase goals that don't spark joy. The law of aimlessness warns that without a sense of purpose, even success feels hollow. Purpose gives direction, turning daily efforts into steps towards something meaningful. By mastering this law, you'll discover what drives you, align your actions with your values, and live with intention, not inertia. Think of someone stuck in a job they tolerate, earning a paycheck but dreading Monday mornings. They're moving, but not forward. A 2018 Gallup poll found that 85% of workers worldwide feel disengaged, often because their work lacks personal meaning. Without purpose, you're like a ship without a compass, busy but lost. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, like saving the world. It can be as simple as creating joy for others or mastering a craft you love. To find your direction, reconnect with what excites you. Reflect on moments when you felt alive, maybe teaching a friend a skill or solving a tough problem. What made those times special? Write down one activity from your past, even from childhood, that lit you up, like drawing or organizing events. Try it again this week, even for 10 minutes. These sparks point to your calling. If you're unsure, ask a close friend what they think you're naturally good at. Their perspective might reveal strengths you overlook. Set a purpose-driven goal, even a small one. If you love helping others, volunteer once a month. If creativity is your thing, start a blog. Break it into steps. Research opportunities today. Sign up tomorrow. Each action ties your daily grind to something bigger. Surround yourself with people who live with purpose. Their energy is contagious. Share your goal with them and ask for tips. They'll keep you accountable and inspired. Purpose thrives on resilience. Criticism or setbacks can shake you, but they're also fuel. If someone doubts your path, use it to clarify why it matters to you. Keep a note of one reason you're pursuing this goal, like, I want to inspire my kids. Revisit it when you waver. Over time, your purpose will anchor you, making even tough days feel worthwhile. The law of aimlessness shows that drifting is easy, but direction is power. By rediscovering your passions, setting meaningful goals, and staying resilient, you'll turn your life into a journey with purpose. Embrace this law, and you'll find every step feels like progress. 14. The law of conformity. We're social creatures, wired to fit in with the crowd, but that instinct can pull us away from reason or individuality. The law of conformity explains why we adopt group behaviors, even when they're flawed, just to belong. It's why you might laugh at a joke you don't get, or stay silent when a group makes a bad call. By mastering this law, you'll learn to balance connection with independence, lead with clarity, and build groups that value truth over blind agreement. Picture a meeting where everyone nods at a risky plan, even though you see flaws. You hesitate to speak, not wanting to seem difficult. That's conformity at play. A 2019 Harvard Business Review article found that 70% of employees avoid challenging group decisions, fearing rejection or conflict. Conformity feels safe. It bonds us to others, but it can lead to mistakes, like following outdated trends or ignoring red flags because everyone else agrees. To resist unhealthy conformity, form your own reality check group. Find a few people, a friend, a mentor, who share your values but aren't afraid to disagree. Meet regularly to discuss big decisions, like a career move or a major purchase. Encourage honesty. Ask, what am I missing here? Their diverse views will keep you grounded. If you're in a group leaning toward a bad choice, speak up tactfully. Say, I see the appeal, but what if we considered this risk? This plants a seed without alienating anyone. Lead by example to shape better groups. If you're in charge, set a tone of open dialogue. Praise someone who challenges the status quo, like a teammate who suggests a bold idea. This signals that dissent is welcome, reducing blind agreement. Focus on shared goals, not egos. Remind everyone why you're together, whether it's solving a problem or building something great. Positive emotions, like enthusiasm, spread fast, so project confidence in the group's mission to keep spirits high. For yourself, practice independent thinking. Before agreeing with a group, pause and ask, do I believe this, or am I just going along? If your friends are raving about a new fad, research it yourself. If your team pushes a plan you doubt, list pros and cons on paper. This habit strengthens your ability to stand firm. It's okay to blend in sometimes. Conformity builds trust, but don't lose your voice. The danger of conformity is losing yourself to the crowd, making choices that don't align with your values. Conversely, rejecting all group norms can isolate you. Find balance, connect with others, but hold on to your reasoning. The law of conformity teaches that belonging is powerful, but so is thinking for yourself. By fostering honest groups, leading with clarity, and trusting your judgment, you'll create stronger connections and smarter outcomes. Embrace this law, and you'll navigate groups without losing who you are. 15. The law of fickleness. People can be fiercely loyal one moment and quick to turn their backs the next, especially when it comes to leaders or heroes. The law of fickleness reveals that admiration is fragile. Crowds lift you up when you shine, but abandon you at the first sign of weakness. This human tendency makes trust fleeting and leadership a tightrope. By mastering this law, you'll learn to build lasting loyalty, lead with authenticity, and navigate the shifting tides of others' approval without losing your way. Imagine a popular coworker who's the office star, always praised for their ideas. One mistake, a missed deadline, and suddenly whispers of doubt spread. People's support evaporates, not because they're cruel, but because they're ambivalent about authority. A 2019 Harvard Business Review article found that 60% of employees lose faith in leaders after a single visible failure, even if the leader's track record is strong. We idealize those above us, but are quick to judge when they falter, seeking perfection that doesn't exist. To lead effectively, anchor your leadership in character, not flash. People respect consistency over charisma. Show up reliably. Keep promises, admit mistakes, and focus on others' needs. If you're managing a team, prioritize their growth over your own spotlight. For example, give credit to a colleague for a win, even if you could claim it. Small acts of selflessness build trust that withstands scrutiny. Stay adaptable. Times change, and so do expectations. If your group values innovation, embrace new tools or ideas, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone. Building loyalty means giving generously. Share your time, knowledge, or resources without expecting immediate returns. If you're a mentor, offer guidance freely. If you're a friend, listen without judgment. These gestures create bonds that endure beyond fleeting admiration. Be authentic. People sense when you're genuine. Share a personal story, like a lesson from a past failure, to show you're human, not a flawless icon. This makes others less likely to turn on you when you stumble. For yourself, don't chase applause. Fickleness thrives on our need for approval, so focus on your values, not the crowd's cheers. If you're leading a project and sense waning support, ask for feedback. What can I do better? This shows confidence and pulls doubters back in. If you're not in a leadership role, apply this by being a steady presence in your relationships. Be the friend who stays supportive, even when others waver. The law of fickleness teaches that human loyalty is fluid, but you can anchor it with authenticity and generosity. By leading with character, adapting to change, and valuing your own compass, you'll earn trust that lasts. Embrace this law, and you'll navigate the ebb and flow of others' faith with grace. 16. The law of aggression. We all have a spark of aggression, a drive to compete, defend, or push forward. When bottled up, it festers. When unleashed carelessly, it destroys. The law of aggression shows that this instinct, if not managed, leaks out in harmful ways, like passive-aggressive jabs or outright conflicts. By mastering this law, you'll learn to channel your aggressive energy into productive action, diffuse others' hostility, and pursue your goals with focus, not fury. Think of a time you felt slighted and responded with a sharp comment, only to regret it later. That's suppressed aggression slipping through. Or maybe you've seen a coworker smile politely, but undermine a rival with subtle digs. A 2020 Psychology Today article noted that unaddressed aggression often manifests indirectly, like sarcasm or procrastination, damaging relationships and trust. Left unchecked, this energy builds pressure, leading to outbursts or self-destructive choices. To harness your aggression, first recognize your triggers. Maybe you tense up when someone cuts you off in traffic, or feel a surge when a colleague takes credit for your work. Notice these moments. Write down one trigger and how you react, like clenching your jaw or stewing silently. Awareness is the first step. Then, redirect that energy into constructive outlets. If you're angry, hit the gym or tackle a tough task, like organizing a messy project. Channeling aggression into action, like pursuing a goal with fierce determination, turns it into a strength. Persistence is key. Aggression often stems from a desire to overcome obstacles, so use it to fuel grit. If you're facing a challenge, like a demanding work deadline, attack it with focus instead of frustration. Break the task into small steps and tackle them one by one. This transforms raw energy into progress. Even self-doubt can be a target. When you feel insecure, push through by taking one bold action, like pitching an idea you've held back. When facing others' aggression, don't mirror their heat. If a friend snaps at you, stay calm and say, "I can see you're upset. Want to talk about it?" This diffuses tension and shifts the dynamic. If someone's passive-aggressive, address it directly but kindly. "I noticed you seemed frustrated. Did I miss something?" This calls out the behavior without escalating. If the aggression persists, set boundaries, limit contact, or clarify what you won't tolerate, like, "I'm happy to discuss this, but not if it's disrespectful." In groups, aggression can spark conflict or drive progress. Lead by directing it towards shared problems, not people. If your team is frustrated, focus their energy on solving a challenge, like brainstorming fixes for a stalled project. This unites them and turns tension into momentum. For yourself, use aggression to push past fear. Whether it's asking for a raise or standing up for a value, let that inner fire propel you. The law of aggression shows that our drive can destroy or create, depending on how we wield it. By channeling it into action, diffusing others' hostility, and staying focused, you'll turn a volatile force into a tool for growth. Embrace this law, and you'll move through life with purpose and power. 19. The law of resistance change is hard, even when we know it's good for us. Ever tried a new habit, like waking up early, only to slip back into old routines? The law of resistance shows that we cling to familiar patterns, not because we're lazy, but because our brains crave the comfort of what's known. This instinct can stall growth and keep us stuck. By mastering this law, you'll learn to push through discomfort, embrace change, and transform your life with steady, deliberate steps. Picture starting a fitness routine full of enthusiasm, but quitting after a week because it feels too hard. That's resistance kicking in, whispering that the old way, sleeping in, skipping the gym, is easier. A 2020 Forbes article found that 80% of people abandon new habits within a month, often because their brains resist the unfamiliar. Resistance isn't just about willpower, it's a survival mechanism, favoring predictability over the unknown, even when the unknown is better. To overcome resistance, start tiny. Want to read more? Commit to 1 page a day, not a whole book. Small actions bypass your brain's alarm bells, building momentum. Write down one micro goal, like drinking a glass of water first thing tomorrow, and stick to it for a week. Track your progress in a notebook. Each checkmark reinforces the habit, making change feel normal. Consistency trumps intensity. A little every day beats a big effort that fizzles. Reframe discomfort as growth. Resistance spikes when you feel uneasy, like when you're learning a new skill and mess up. Instead of quitting, tell yourself, "This struggle means I'm leveling up." Recall a past challenge you overcame, like nailing a tough project, to remind yourself you're built for this. If resistance hits hard, pause and breathe for 10 seconds to reset. Then take one step forward, like practicing one more time. This shifts your mindset from avoidance to action. Lean on accountability. Share your goal with a friend, say, "I'm trying to meditate daily," and ask them to check in weekly. Their support makes it harder to backslide. If you're resisting a big change, like a career shift, talk to someone who's done it. Their story will show you it's possible. Avoid naysayers who fuel your doubts. Surround yourself with people who cheer your progress, like a workout buddy or a mentor. Resistance can trick you into thinking you're not ready, but waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Act anyway. If you're scared to apply for a promotion, send the application today, even if it's not flawless. Each small win chips away at resistance, building a habit of moving forward. Over time, change becomes your new normal. The law of resistance teaches that discomfort is the gateway to growth. By starting small, reframing struggle, and leaning on support, you'll break free from old patterns and build a life of progress. Embrace this law, and you'll turn resistance into rocket fuel for your goals. 20. The law of idealization. We love to put people on pedestals, friends, partners, or mentors, imagining they're flawless until they inevitably disappoint us. The law of idealization reveals our habit of projecting perfection onto others, only to feel betrayed when their human flaws show. This cycle can fracture relationships and cloud our judgment. By mastering this law, you'll see people as they are, build realistic connections, and find balance between admiration and clarity. Think of a time you idolized someone, like a new boss who seemed brilliant, only to feel let down when they snapped under pressure. You didn't see a villain, just a human. A 2019 Psychology Today article noted that 65% of people overestimate the positive traits of those they admire, setting up unrealistic expectations. Idealization feels good. It inspires us. But when reality hits, we crash, blaming them for not living up to our fantasy. To avoid this trap, practice realistic admiration. When you meet someone impressive, note their strengths, but look for their limits too. If a friend always seems cheerful, ask yourself, when have I seen them struggle? This grounds your view. Write down one person you admire and list 3 great qualities alongside one flaw, like they're kind but sometimes flaky. This exercise trains you to see the whole person, not a caricature. In relationships, communicate openly to prevent idealization. If you're dating someone new, don't assume they're perfect. Ask about their challenges or quirks early on. Share your own imperfections, like admitting you're bad at time management, to set a real tone. This builds trust based on truth, not illusions. If you catch yourself idealizing, pause and ask, am I seeing them or who I want them to be? This keeps your expectations fair. Apply this to yourself too. Idealizing others often stems from feeling less than. Build your own confidence by celebrating your wins, like finishing a tough task, and accepting your flaws, like being impatient. Keep a journal of one thing you did well each day. It could be as simple as helping a neighbor. This self-assurance stops you from projecting perfection onto others, letting you connect as equals. When someone you admire lets you down, don't write them off. Acknowledge their mistake, but reflect on their overall character. If a mentor gives bad advice, talk it out. I was surprised by that suggestion. Can we discuss it? This preserves the relationship while addressing the issue. Surround yourself with people who are good but imperfect, and learn from their balance of strengths and struggles. The law of idealization teaches that no one is flawless, and that's okay. By seeing people clearly, communicating honestly, and valuing yourself, you'll build relationships that thrive on reality, not fantasy. Embrace this law, and you'll find connection in the beauty of human imperfection. These 20 laws of human behavior reveal the hidden forces that shape how we think, act, and connect. From envy to idealization, each law offers a lens to understand yourself and others, turning challenges into opportunities. Apply these lessons, whether it's channeling aggression or embracing mortality, and you'll navigate relationships with wisdom and build a life of purpose. Bookmark this video to revisit these insights, and let's keep growing together. Subscribe for more tools to transform your success.